funny thing happened to me on my way to invading Earth. I am your worst nightmare. Believe that.
What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze?
Yo, we are joined by Santa himself today, but we also have a guest. Chris Waigand will be on the show. He'll be talking to us about his project called Tights. And we're going to be talking about the spirit of Christmas, right, Sam? I mean, he's in it. Look at him. He's in it. So let's do it.
It's Santa to you. Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze Podcast. I'm your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man, and I am with
George, the dream of Medina. It should be who am I with right now? I am with, looks like what you say, Santa Claus. welcome,
ho,
everyone.
ho, we are having fun.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. This is our Christmas special, as you can tell by Mr. Sam Vera and his outfit. My man likes to dress up, but yeah, we're gonna have a good time today. Thank you guys for joining us. Please subscribe, like, comment on the show below, and let's get it going. I mean, I have nothing else to say. When you opened up the show, I'm like, what the hell? This kid just threw on the whole Santa outfit. Holy cow. So you just randomly have this outfit laying around the house. This is what you do.
Santa reached out and he said, you did a great job last year with the Crazies and, and helping me get ready to deliver gifts for the holiday season. He can do it again this year. So I was like, all right. So he gave me an official, suit, and he says, you are now Santa Claus. And I was like, all right. Holla.
I didn't even know you had done stuff last year. I had no idea that you were helping out the kiddies out there and I guess you were still in the East Coast at the time.
Yes. Remember that blizzard? Santa was having trouble traveling, and he,
Oh, so you hooked him up.
I hooked him up,
All right.
I had to do my thing. I had to go out there and go, hoo-doo.
Okay, hoo-doo. Yes, good. Ghetto Santa. All right.
Ghetto Santa.
So here we are, man. It's December 25th. Merry Christmas, everyone watching. I'm hoping you're having a great time with your family, your loved ones. Did you get anything good this year, Sam? Or did you get any good gifts?
The good gift is that my wife is back home.
Okay.
My wife, since we moved to Texas, she's been out in Jersey working. And so, she finally gave in her notice, and she's back home. And so it was a good season.
All right, cool. So now you guys are going to just chill out.
Yeah, it's just been me and the animals out here, holding it down.
Killing it.
Yeah.
Killing
and
it.
my sister's here, so that's even
nice.
Well, it's even much more rewarding.
That's incredible, man. Yeah, that's incredible. And as of this recording, which is just a few days ago, we kind of did this. We are actually, I'm hoping by the recording that we will already be at 500. But at this point, I think we're a little under 500 as far as subscribers go on the channel.
Well, it kept ebbs and flows. So
yeah,
it goes up, it goes down. It goes up, it goes down. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So thank you, everyone who has already subscribed to the channel. We really appreciate all of the subscriptions. You guys have been making it happen. As of this recording, we're at 493. So hopefully 7 more people will have signed up by Friday. And if not, by the end of the year, we will be at 500. So thank you, everyone, for that. There is so much to go over. This is going to be, I think it's going to be a little oversized special show. We had a very good conversation with Chris Waigand, who will be on the show a little later. We had a nice interview with him.
And if you don't know who Tights. If you don't know what Tights is, check out What's in the Box. It was a nice episode on Tights. Really good story. Well done, funny.
Yeah. So, I mean, not exactly a Christmas story, but it's a very good story nonetheless. So it's very good. Check it out. Go to What's in the Box on the channel here and check that out. And so we're going to be talking to him. And today's topic, usually, we have the I'll Get Your Meds topic, but today we're gonna skip that and we're gonna talk about gifts for the holidays, right? What to give that special someone who's an artist and things of that nature. Sam, you are a big collector of art books and all of that other fun stuff. So you have recommendations for the folks out there?
Yeah, I think you can never go wrong with an art book with an artist. But the biggest challenge is making sure you know exactly what they currently have. If they're a family member, and if you don't know what they have and you want to get them an art of book, give them a gift card to get to like Amazon Books or Barnes and Nobles or whatever, and let them pick the book that they want. But there are books like The Art of the Mitchells, and what's good about Amazon.com is that you can see you can get previews of the inside of the books and see the creative team's process. This is a 224 page book. We're not being sponsored by that. You have also like the Art of Castlevania book, and they provide like some sketches. I don't know why this doesn't open up all the way. Let's see. Look inside. Here we go. Boom. There it is. So I love the red there. That's nice. But Castlevania, you're not thinking of Christmas, but it's a good Christmas gift. Look at that art piece right there. Right. And you have here I'm just showing you guys some samples, some character designs, some pencils. This is what I like. Really good art books are going to show you the process, the turnarounds, the pencils, the sketches, the world development. Not just splash page colored pictures. For me, those are not art of books. Those are just picture books.
You know what's a good arts of book is The Mandalorian. Arts up. Like I have that.
You have it?
And that book is amazing, dude. It's like this big, it's like this thick, and it has all of the ships. It's got the characters that they drew for the show. It's got the worlds, everything. It's got all of that stuff. It's such a good freaking book, bro, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. If you guys have watched the show, at the end of every episode, they would have those big splashes, like that artwork at the end, concept art for that particular episode, and a lot of that stuff is in the book.
Wow! So they had season 1. Are you talking about the season 1?
Yeah.
Okay, because season 2 is coming out in February 2022 of the art of book. So let's see if they have any previews of the insides that we can show.
The art of season 1 was freaking incredible, dude. Like it was really, really well done. And again, it's like what you were saying. They have all of that behind the scenes information, and it's a really good book. It really gets you into that world. It motivates you. It's really good for the artists, even for writers. Because you get to see what these worlds are built like, and you just your creativity starts building. So that is a very good book to have also.
Yeah, it's 256 pages.
They're thick. They're thick.
Yeah, and really nice. But yeah, I said you can't go wrong with art of books, and for writers, find out who their favorite authors are, and get them a book by that author that they don't currently own, that they haven't read. I think the best gifts are, number one, is understanding who the person is. It doesn't have to be an expensive gift. Understanding, the person, their motivations, their likes, their dislikes. I think when we don't take the time to just get to know, our family members especially, what their interests are, we always go with the what is it, the candle baskets or whatever, the safe stuff. But, I think the best thing is, learn. It could be someone who's haven't been to the movies in a long time, been wanting to go to the movies, maybe giving them, movie tickets. for themselves, and somebody who might be reclusive and doesn't really like to socialize much, but has a hobby. What is that hobby? Maybe they need more supplies, those kind of things. Or sometimes the best gift is just companionship. Sometimes it could be, I know you've been on lockdown, and I know that you've, been dealing with some emotional things, but hey, let's hang out for a little bit, and it just may be there over a drink, So I think, just know your audience, know who the people. Sometimes just spending time. Sometimes not even monetary. Sometimes just spending time, and I think that's the most important part of it is, taking time to learn who the people are. But if you have hobbyists, if you have people who like to knit, get them some yarn, extra supplies. People who like to sculpt, get them some clay, or give them a gift card to Michael's. So they can go and get some more.
So gift cards. How do you feel about gift cards? Do you think that's an impersonal gift, or do you think that's a good gift to give?
If a gift card is like, if you know that you have somebody who likes to shop at one specific place, give them a gift card to that place. You talk to people and they're like, oh man, I just love going to Target all the time. Oh, I love blah, 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 blah. You know what? Here's a gift card for Target. Like, oh, snaps. Because now it's more, that's personal. Because you tied it to where they like to go most often. If you know somebody that is an artist and, and they're always at Michael's or whatever it is, give them a gift card to Michael's. Because I think sometimes if you don't know exactly what they need, and I think,
Well, yeah, I think people sleep on gift cards, man. I think people automatically assume that a gift card, it's just the lazy way out. But I look at it the way you're looking at it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you like to shop at a store, that is your store. Why wouldn't I give you a gift card to your store?
Yes.
So that you can go in there and go nuts. I don't know what you're going to get at that store. I don't know what you like from that store.
But that's what makes it personal, because
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. You know that they go to that store. So then you give them the gift to that store.
Yeah.
I think the great, and I want to just tie this into just the smaller stores, right? I know we talk about Amazon. Amazon it's huge, and Amazon probably doesn't need our money at this point. Amazon is just very convenient. So if you get, if you order something from Amazon, it'll probably be there tomorrow.
Right.
But if you're looking for gift cards or gifts to buy somebody, I think that you should kind of do double duty.
Double duty! Double duty! Double duty!
Yeah, put that away. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. I think that you definitely should not just get a gift card to somebody you love and give them, that gift, but also maybe make that gift card to their local comic book shop to help that comic book shop during the holidays make some money during the holidays.
Yes.
Right? So get a gift card from that comic book shop, or get a gift card from a small mom and pop store that your friend likes to go to in the neighborhood or something like that, just to give those people the business, because
Yes.
Amazon probably doesn't need it from us anymore. You know what I mean? And granted, if you're late and you're like, oh shoot, I need to get a gift out to somebody, yeah, that's the easiest way to go. But to me, try to incorporate some of those gift cards. Go to your local comic book shop, go to a little mom and pop store, even if it's a candle store in the neighborhood and your friend loves candles, go to that store, say, hey, listen, you guys have any gift cards? Because I want to give one for a friend of mine. And you do that as a gift. But yeah, so you brought out the duty. So why don't we jump into some of that stuff? Like, right? Like you have a friend who likes indie comics. You have a friend who wants something different. He's tired of, Spider-Man is huge right now. It's great. But you know what? I want something nobody knows about. What do you have in there, Sam, that you just popped out of nowhere? That little box you got that you just popped out. What is that?
Oh, well, since you're asking.
Oh, look at the glasses.
Since you're asking, I think it's the topic in the news. In other news, Duty, the first of its kind prototype box for Duty that's nailing in my toilet.
Yes.
So this, there's only 7 in existence of this latex figure of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
And one was sold back in 2007 at the Big Apple Comic Con to a true dudester, a true Duty fan. So
Nice.
This is going to be available up for grabs, one of a kind, on and the first prototype box of its kind. So this is
Nice.
not for children. This is for collectors. This is not a approved product for kids to play with. Remember, it's a prototype latex doll. This is for a collector to be displayed. But I normally wouldn't be given this out as an opportunity for a collector to get it, but this is for a true collector. So this is the turnaround of the box, and inside the box is a dudester.
Inside the box.
There's Duty himself. So inside the box, you have your one collector with deep pockets is going to be able to. I gotta just say that one collector, because there's only 7 of its kind, and of the 7, I own 6 of them, and I'm willing to part with one of them. But it's going to remember this was created to pitch to networks. This was created to pitch to companies. So for the Kickstarter, one will be available for a true collector, and you'll be one of them to have it before Boot Duty pops off. Because Duty's gonna pop. Just to say, Duty pop.
What's up? What's the what is he made out of? Just hold it up again. Just turn it around.
He's made out of latex.
Cool. Yeah, look, the details cool on this guy, man.
Yeah.
Got his little tie. Got the belt.
Yeah.
Very. I mean, it's pretty. It's exactly what it looks like in the comics. Too.
Yes, and the dimensions are he's 4 inches deep, 5 inches wide, and 7.5 inches tall.
Yeah, he's pretty big. It's pretty big size.
Yeah. So this, first, no one's seen this box until now. You've seen this box.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas. This is the official
Here's your
Dudester. I'm excited about this, and yeah, it's gonna be available on the Kickstarter November 15th, 2022, and it's again, it's you got to be a collector with deep pockets and understand the value of prototypes. This is a prototype. There's only 7 in existence.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's cool, man. That little box is awesome. And for those watching, you can go to our show notes where you'll have the link for the page, the launch page for Duty. And there's an end in my toilet.
Yes.
So yeah, that's gonna be cool, man. That's awesome. So there's only 7 in existence. There's actually one person already has one, right? Like,
Yes.
didn't
So he
somebody buy
owns
it
the
way
he owns
back in
the
the day?
yeah he owns the 7th.
Yeah.
This one that's up for grabs is what it's signed on the bottom. They're all signed on the bottom.
Nice.
And it's signed. This is number 2
Let me see the bottom.
of 7, and this was signed by me in 2005.
What does it look like? Let me see the bottom. Oh yeah, okay.
So in 2005, and it's still there, nice
So
and
that's
fresh.
number 2.
Number
Ooh.
2.
You have number 1 and you sold number 1.
I have number 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, number 1 got to stay with Sam.
Number 1.
Yeah, but yeah, number 2. So and it was signed 05. So Duty's been on display on my shelves, and now that with the relaunch, I'm allowing one person to be able to, and you got to be a true Dudester and a true collector.
This packaging is special for this campaign. Like
Yes.
that, he's never been sold or that way. The person who actually has the other one in existence probably looking at this like, and if he is looking, hey, let us know. Let us know that you watched the show.
Yeah.
Send us put a comment down below, maybe a picture of it. But he's probably like, I should have held out for that box, dog.
Well, the box that he has, there was a custom box, but it was oversized. And in the box, in the box had Duty, and it had the graphic novel in the box, and it had a lot of green corn, and it was a plastic box. It had a cover in the rear. It's like the packing corn.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
like
that
green corn.
Yeah, it's that packing corn is green, and so it was an oversized box. This time, when I designed the box, I made sure it was per spec of the product itself. So it's nicely, and this box
fits.
itself can fit nicely on your shelf, and display nicely on your shelf, and you can have Duty in front of the box. It's definitely a collector's piece, and for this campaign. So if you haven't signed up, sign up below for this one. It's going to be amazing. There's coloring books, there's trading card game, there's the guidebook, there's the comic itself. A lot of great stuff.
Yeah, no, it looks good. It looks great. Yeah, so if you haven't signed up, sign up. And then on February 15th, we are going live for the launch of the campaign.
Yeah.
So Make sure you tune in for that next year. Damn, 2022 is already here.
It's
but
already here.
It's exciting stuff.
It's crazy how fast it showed up.
Mhm.
And if you haven't seen the history of Disneyland in My Toilet, the docuseries, check that out. At this point of this show right now, episode 2 has been out. Episode 3, look for new episodes every Sundays of the history of Disneyland in My Toilet. And, I'll be talking about and for the future episodes, how I designed this box. I'll be talking about more in depth on the trading card game and all that other stuff.
Yeah, no, it looks good. It looks really, really good. So yeah, exciting to see that. Man, listen, it's gonna be a good 2022 creatively. I think there's so much stuff coming out. You have obviously there's Million in My Toilet. Don't forget, sign up to the launch page. It's live right now.
And your launch page for Wonder Duck goes up when?
My launch page comes out next year. So January 4th is when I'm launching I'll have the launch page out January 4th. That campaign doesn't launch till much later in the
yeah, you got 4 months of promotion.
I got time. Yeah, I got time.
There should be 1,000 signed up by the time you launch.
Oh man, knock on wood. That happens. But yeah, no, it's good. I think that when you're an indie, it's so important to just build that awareness so far in advance, because although it sounds like, yo, dude, you're doing too much, because the way the algorithms work with indie social networks, yeah, we may see this every day because we're doing it, but the reach isn't there all the time. Right. So you have to pump out stuff so that your numbers, because it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
It's such a numbers game situation, because you think everybody that's on your network is seeing it every day. They're probably not. So you have to throw it out there. For those who do get it all the time, you got to understand that it's a necessary evil. Yeah. You need all of that stuff in there. It's not spam. It's just us trying to get the word out.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, because you're competing with thousands of campaigns. And you're also competing with a lot of pros that have the marketing budget to be able to hire third-party organizations to run their campaigns. So when you're in India, you don't have that capital to be able to go out there and spend that money to go and hire a third party or to buy these big ads and all that stuff. You need the grassroots, the hustle and bustle, and the constant posting to be able to build awareness. It's tiresome. I know that, but think about it. I mean, it's not as tiresome as Santa having to travel across the whole world to deliver gifts, right?
Yeah, that dude's got to be exhausting.
Right.
He does it.
Load up all that stuff. It's like, come on, going through blizzards and hurricanes and tornadoes and flying around during COVID. Come on,
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So I'm glad that I'm an official Santa Claus. I'm helping out my bro.
No. So what do you got? You're in charge of Texas? That's you? That's your.
I'm on Storm Alert. I'm on Storm Watch. So if he runs into any obstacles, I gotta be out there. I gotta help him out.
Got you. You gotta go out. All right. Cool, man. You Sam and speaking. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I love it. I freaking love it. Oh, yeah.
I love it, man.
God.
So
I love it.
So
man. I love it.
Let's run to commercial break.
2 years after Duty's first trip to Earth. Location, Laboria. Haven to smugglers, heroes, and others.
It was amazing. I mean, they unleashed an entire arsenal at me. A futile attempt.
You don't say.
There was a lone soldier.
A soldier? Wow.
Mr. Gorf, I understand you may be a hero in some sectors. Need I remind you, you are in the company of a superior intellect and should never disrupt one while in the midst of a statement.
You are correct. I apologize. Please, continue.
Where was I? Oh, yes. There was a lone soldier, outnumbered and surrounded. They came from the air, the sea, the land!
To find out what happens next in
Hi, I'm Duty from Uranus.
Visit crazycomics.com for all of your Duty adventures.
All right, we're back. So that was a promo that George and I did for Disneyland in My Toilet back in the days. And that was one of our first acting jobs where we did voiceovers for this commercial, and it was Duty and Goff at the bar talking.
Back in the days.
Jeez. Back in the days. Yes.
Wow. Are you keeping the Duty voice, or what are you doing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
All right.
There's gonna be more commercials coming down the pike.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, Duty Explosion. I was telling Sam, and this isn't a bad thing. I wasn't saying this is a bad thing. I think Duty just does something to your creativity, bro. Like, and it's always been like that. Even when he first came out, he's always managed to make you come up with ideas that are outside the box, that are outside of just no. You become a little kid again.
Yes, I think that's what it
when you
is.
talk duty, when you do duty things, like it's just that maybe it's in the name, maybe it's where he's from. It's cool, man. It's cool, and I think that as creators, we need to kind of like be more like that. I think we need to stop being adults when we're creating, especially these worlds
Yes.
where it's for it, where it's funny, it's for kids and stuff like that. I think you guys just gotta, lose your inhibitions, go for it, but get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Be silly. Who cares?
Yes, yes, I think that's the biggest thing. It definitely does. Everybody knows I'm a big kid at heart. I just have to have a big frame. I just happen to have a big frame, but inside I've always been a big kid. I like to play. I love to laugh, and I love humor. And when I'm creating Duty, it reminds me of my childhood. And Duty feels like a friend of mine. And so. And again, like I said, even when I was drawing the comic book, the words were given to me as I was drawing. Right? So the dialogue was coming to me as I'm drawing the pages. The Duty was dictating what happens. So right now I'm just having fun with the creativity, but my dog is trying to get into the room, so I'm going to walk away for a second.
Oh man, yeah, no, I think that just you have to be fearless when you're creating. And sometimes you got to lose your ambitions and just say, man, I'm doing this for the sake of doing this and I'm having a good time. So don't be afraid, man. Get out there and be silly. Especially if you're writing a silly story, get out there and be silly. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in, little man's in.
Yeah, I'm tired of being serious, and I think that's what I think, I love like the series Forbidden. I'm very passionate about the series, but it doesn't bring out the child in me. It brings out the business guy in me. It's like, it's like Forbidden for me is a great fantasy series that I believe will pop one day. It'll peak. It'll find its moment in the sun. But with Duty, it's organic. Like, it's easy for me to draw him. It's easy for me to create his world. It's easy for me to have fun and be goofy. Forbidden, I wasn't the right guy to draw Forbidden. I was the right writer for it. So I wasn't having all the fun that I would have with Duty, where I'm writing it, I'm drawing it, all that stuff, and the world is just evolving. And at the end of the day, he's an extension of my sense of humor. If you've been watching any of the episodes of Catch the Craze, Sam doesn't take himself too seriously, and so he's willing to do anything to have fun, even if at his own expense. That's what Duty is.
Yeah. I mean, I think when we're creating stuff, depending on what you're creating, obviously, and again, I don't know. I mean, Forbidden is a whole different ballgame. It's a whole different, genre. It's a different kind of writing. It's more serious. I think you have to tap into what makes that work. I think sometimes it's like you said, right? You weren't the right person to write it. Maybe it's a matter of, okay, maybe I need to find a publishing house that can promote it or knows how to promote that kind of stuff, which I think is pretty much what the goal is. You're not trying to, be the publishing house that puts out this stuff. Whereas with Duty is a little different because I think you have more control over what you do in that story because you're drawing it, you're writing it, you're doing all of that stuff. Right. So it's easy to kind of just say, all right, well, I'm gonna have fun with this one. Right. If I want to create this box, I'm going to create this box. I don't need to talk to a marketing department about what I can put on this box. I'll put whatever I want on the box. It's my box. So there's more freedom, I think, to this property.
I think it was easy for me to promote Duty because I've been there. You know what I'm saying? It's easy for me to promote him because he's universal. Forbidden is a niche, right? Fantasy is a targeted audience for Forbidden. With Duty, I think it's a wider, broader. There's so much potential with promoting him. Same way I feel about Catch the Crazies. There's so much potential to promote those types of characters. I believe the same thing for Wonder Duck. It's because it is recognizable, relatable. I mean, when you think, just think about what came before Wonder Duck. You got Donald Duck, Howard the Duck, Daffy Duck. You got all these recognizable brands, and you're just coming into the next level in that family and that extension of storytelling. Duty, you had E.T., you have Alf, you have Marvin the Martian, you have all those predecessors that came before Duty. He's just a natural evolution of that environment. And look at the mass appeal those brands had. If we tap into the right marketing, we can mimic that same type of response. The challenge comes to us as independent creators. How do we expose it to a wider audience, given the limitations that we're having? And I think that's where we have to challenge ourselves by breaking down barriers that we have for ourselves. Get the thought out that we're independents and just figure out. Think like a big marketing company, a big branding company. What would they do? And try to emulate that at your level. And push the hell out of it, and the audience will be your sounding board. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like we had a topic of, I guess, I don't know if it's going to be in the future or we did it already, but guerrilla marketing, where you just go out there and you just got to do, because you don't have the big budgets that these marketing firms have to put your project out there, you have to, kind of use tactics that are a little bit unconventional, a lot unconventional, whether it's going straight to the stores and saying, hey, I have this product, put it on your shelves, we'll work out a deal, whether it's you're blitzing stuff on social media. And it's like, you can't just buy an ad and think that ad is going to get eyes on your product. It doesn't work like that. No. So you have to do other things. And if it means posting every day because you have to fight the algorithms, that's what has to be done. So yeah, it's tough. And the other, you mentioned like all of these other properties were around and have been around, so it's good to tap into it. That is a positive thing. It could also have its negative effect because sometimes these people are so loyal to that other brand that they look at what you're coming out with as a copycat.
A rip.
Yeah. So you have to toe that line and show them, no, it's not a rip. It's different, and this is how.
Right.
And this is why you'll like it. It's like, if you like that, you're going to like this because of this. It's not the same. It's something different. It's an extension of that.
Right.
It's not exactly that.
Right. It's in the spirit of, but it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? And I think, I think that's the biggest thing. Before you make your opinion, pick it up.
Right.
That's the best way to end that conversation. So as a consumer, before you say, oh, they're ripping off of this, read it. Pick it up, give it a shot, and you have nothing to lose but the world to gain, because if you connect with that character, now you'll grow with its growth. You'll be you move along for the journey. I think that's the biggest thing, So I don't think about the comparisons. I think about I think about, am I doing everything that I am capable of doing to get my story out?
Yeah.
It's
funny, man, because you're right. Like you try, when you're creating, you're not thinking about those comparisons and stuff like that. I think when it's time to sell the product though, right? Like when you're pitching this product, whether it's to customers or whether it's to maybe a network or something, I think people support what they know, right? So if you go into a pitch meeting and you say, it's like this, it's this meets that, it's that familiarity that makes them say, all right, you know what? I like that.
Right.
I'm going to give this a shot. So while we're not thinking about those similarities, when it comes time to pitch, we got to take those similarities into consideration to see if that'll sell the product to the person who's now, in front of you, whether it's at your table or across that desk.
Yeah.
As you're pitching. So
because
it's interesting, man.
Yeah,
it
you
really
have to tap into the emotion, right? Because nostalgia is an emotional experience basically, right? So when you have that nostalgic feeling, it's because it takes you to a place in time where you're the happiest, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so if you can tap into that with whoever you're pitching to or with your audience, you're one step ahead of the curve. The great thing about when I created Duty, and when you created Wonder Duck, it was something that you were passionate about, and you because when I met you, you were drawing ducks.
Yeah.
You had
I
hip hop
hip-hop
ducks. You had
Hip-hop.
yeah. You were drawing just as I met you, and so I think when you're creating for yourself, the hard part is figuring out how to get people to recognize your passion and all the hard work you put into it. But if you're creating for yourself, you're a step ahead of the curve. When you're creating as a gimmick and you're just tapping into what's happening out there, it's not the same. It's not sustainable. But I think, when you put the right emphasis and the right focus into yourself and your craft, and don't give yourself limitations, the world's your oyster. It's just a matter of time. You have to be patient as well. Everything's about time.
No, definitely big time. And I'm telling you right now, I think independent artists and smaller comic books are having a moment, especially the last couple of years. And as terrible as this pandemic has been, I feel like a lot of indie artists and even the people we talk to decided that because they were going to be home and there was nothing else to do, they were going to sit down and finally write that book they wanted to write, finally create that story they wanted to create. A lot of people were getting furloughed and fired and losing jobs. And a lot of people sat down and just said, all right, you know what? Exactly. I've been wanting to do this. Let me do this. Now is the time. So there is a lot of stuff out there. And if you are a fan of indie products and stuff like that, and you're watching this show right now, go to your local comic book shop, go online, check out our show, look at all the guys, all the girls, all the people that we've had on our show. Give them a try. If you're looking for new things to try out, go on all of our episodes. We have tons, over 350 episodes.
Yeah.
Look through them, listen to these people's stories, and give them a shot. Give them a shot. All of their links are always on the show notes, so you know where to find them. That's part of the beauty of the show. And that leads me to thanking everyone who has come on this show and shared their experiences with us, whether they were musicians or comic book artists or puppeteers or everybody who's been on the show. We've been doing this for what now, Sam? 3 years now? It's been back.
2019.
We've talked to so many creators, and we plan on keep on doing this and keep on doing it. So next year we're gonna have even more people come on the show.
We're a couple of months from episode 400.
Look at that. We're almost up to 400. Yeah, crazy. Almost up to 400. That's how many we've done. So there's tons of stuff. And thank you everyone who has come on the show to share their story, because that's what this is all about, man. That's what this is all about. And for this Christmas, I'm telling you, if you guys want to give people gifts, check out our show, purchase some of these books, and give it to your people. And I'm sure they're going to love some of this stuff. There's something for everyone, right? It's not even like, oh, we just talk to cartoonists, or we just talk to people who write about Dracula, or people who write about werewolves. No, we talk to everybody. There's probably a comic book in there for you in one of these shows that you're like, oh shoot, I never even thought about reading a book like this. Yeah. It's in there. It's in there. That's the beauty of it.
I want to thank you, Lord Independence, for coming on Catch the Craze. We do appreciate you, Independence, for helping us celebrate.
All right, off the top of the dome.
Off the top of the dome. Oh. Yeah, no, we do appreciate all you guys out there, all you gals out there. Even though not everybody who's been on the show has subscribed, we still appreciate everybody. Put it out there. Give the gift of subscription. Subscribe to Catch the Craze today.
Freaking God. This is sometimes he gets bitter Santa. Bitter Santa comes out.
Oh, you crazy.
but yeah, no, definitely. Carry on, Sam. What's your message?
Oh man, yes, we do appreciate every single person out there. I remember when we decided to come back, we're like, how do we get guests? Right? That was the first question. Now we're booked through February, which is crazy. And where we went from trying to figure out the game plan to now how do we build bigger and better, and every year comes with new looks for the craze, the whole bit. I'm thinking about the new promo cards that I do for the guests and what that's going to look like in 2022. All these things, because we always want to take things to the next level. And we're only capable of doing that because you keep watching, you keep coming back, and the guests want to be on Catch the Craze, and we want to talk to you, and we want to promote you, and we appreciate every single one of you. It's been one hell of a year. 2021. I remember in 2020, I lost my job. Right? December 5th was my last day of employment. My whole company went belly up. So thousands of people lost their jobs. Right? And I remember we had a family meeting and they said, you know what? Let's do the budget. This is how long you can go after your dream. Right? And then, hit by a car. I wasn't hit. My car was struck. We got 2 car accidents where we were struck both times. We had pipe bursts. We had sewer issues. We had roof issues. A storm take down the roof. All this money was, so all that planning to be a brokepreneur, my savings was just being depleted with all these issues that was happening. And then we decided to uproot. And then I just launched my new studio as a brokepreneur, and getting excited to bring the fellas in the studio. And then I decided to move to Texas, right? And so you think about my whole world's been flipped upside down in 2021, and I feel like that all prepared me and made me really focus on my mind, on what my agenda needs to be and what my mission statement is. It's really just to go after. I didn't go give up everything, give up a cushy job with a consistent salary, with health benefits and all these other things, to just play. I want to make this a living. I want to be a comic book creator for a living, an independent comic book creator. I'm not looking to work for any company. I'm looking to do this on my own. And so 2022 is the year where the stars line up. All of that, all the grinding, the leaving comics for 10 years, the coming back to the lockdown and all the challenges and all this other stuff, and losing friends and family, to COVID. And, it just put things in perspective. Tomorrow's not promised. So which is why I work as hard as I do, and I want to have fun. And duty has reminded me of my passion, it was a tough time pitching and selling Forbidden. I couldn't figure out how to market Forbidden, and I tried everything. Duty made it easy for me because he's telling me how to do it. He said, "No, you got to do this. Yo, you got to do this." So that's where the idea for the box came in. That's where the idea came in for the board game and all that other stuff, because Duty was speaking to me and he's basically guiding me. He's my mentor during this whole process. So I'm having fun. So I do want to say, if you have a dream out there, don't give up. It is hard. It is not easy. Don't give up. Keep moving forward. Surround yourself with like-minded people, people that believe in you, that love you unconditionally, that are willing to ride that wave with you, the ride or die. And don't worry about getting caught up in the ones that poke you. Right? There's always going to be a critic. There's always going to be somebody who doesn't like what you do. Don't worry about that. That's life. That's part of life. Don't lose your cool. Don't get out of character. Just keep focused. If you believe it, you love it, keep hustling, and don't put a clock on it. I said to myself when I came back, this is going to be it, this is going to be it. And so now I'm just having fun creating. I said, when the time comes, I want to be prepared. Don't know when that time is, right? But I want to be prepared. So I want to make sure that the books are finished. I want to make sure that the board game is finished. I want to make sure, that the trading card game is finished. Everything that I'm putting my hands on is finished. So when the time comes and someone says, "Hey, we like what you're doing, we want it in our stores," or whatever it is, it's ready. Yep. Right? The worst thing I can do is try to pitch and to everybody with nothing done. Right? So I think that's the best thing you can do for yourself is, put your heart and soul into it, finish what you start, and then have fun. Because I'm having fun with Duty. You know, Duty was the one who told me, get your Santa Claus out of the garage, right? And with these, I'm crazy. Oh, he's talking to his doll, right? But that man lost it. He really is the crazy man.
He's done. He's done. Man's gonna go to his roof right now and jump off and in a sleigh, and he's gonna be practicing.
I know.
Be careful with this guy.
But I'm having fun, and that's what you have to do. I mean, don't worry about how old you're getting or whatever it is, and don't worry about the competition. Be mindful of what's happening out there, but don't get caught up on it. Know what the trends are, know what's changing in technology, try to take advantage of those technologies, right? Know how to use and manipulate the algorithms, but don't get caught up on, the other guys, because they're not worried about you. They're worried about the same thing, getting their stuff out there. So that's what you should be doing.
Yeah, I think part of that message, obviously, is to, just don't give up on what you're doing. Don't get discouraged, man. It's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to say, well, those guys are doing it like this, and I got better stuff. Why isn't my stuff out there? Don't worry about those guys.
No.
They're doing their thing. You sit down, figure out what you got to do, and do what you have to do. Don't worry about that other stuff. I think people start comparing stuff, and again, it's social media is great for what we're trying to do, which is put our stuff out there. But social media is also terrible, man, because you're going through these stories, you look at what other people are doing, you're like, I should be doing that. I wish I had that. I wish I had that. And it's like, yo, dude, everybody posts, most people post on social media the positive things in their lives. You have no idea what these people are going through. You have no idea what's going on in their world. And all they're posting is just the good stuff that's happening to them. But behind the scenes, so much other stuff is going on. So don't focus on all of that stuff. We are all just, creating a story for people to watch every day. It's not, all of it isn't real. So don't worry about that stuff. Just do what you have to do. Focus on your product, get it out there. Don't give up on, oh man, I can't do it. I can't. No, just find a way. Find a way. But yeah, dude, listen, man, I'm having fun. I love doing the show with you. This has been great. I look forward to our Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Sometimes I'm like, and I'm a bit of a worry wart sometimes, like, this isn't going to come out right. We don't have all the information. And all of a sudden we do the show and it's magical. Like the stuff that happens on the show is like, wow, I didn't know about this guy's story. This is, there's a lot of inspiring stuff that comes out of a lot of these interviews, And I think that that's the important, and that's some of the stuff that I've learned doing this thing is, man, just when you think you've thought of everything, there's something else that comes up. Or just when you thought, the way you grew up or what happened to you in your past is bad, you talk to somebody like, wow, that's what happened in their life. So it's just eye-opening. Every single time I talk to somebody new, it's amazing. And that's why I enjoy talking to people, because we all have so many stories to tell.
Yeah.
So make sure you check out the show. I also want to just give a quick shout out. And for those that are watching, and if you are a comic book head and you like comic books, support your local comic book shops. Find it. Find your local comic book shop. Go to it. Buy the comics. If you're not into comics, but they have cards, Magic, The Gathering, and all that other, whatever it is that they have, support it. We need these comic book shops open, especially when we remember what was happening in 2020. A lot of them were closing down, and some of them weren't going to make it. Support it. Go out there, buy yourself a comic book there. Try to stay away from like the big companies that have all the money in the world. Support your local independent comic book, not just comic book shops, but just support your small business, support your comic book shops. I want to give a big shout out to the Spider's Web, which is my local comic book shop. If you guys live in the Yonkers area, go check out the Spider's Web. Check them out. I don't know who yours is, Sam. Do you have one yet, or are you still kind of looking?
I haven't been to the shops yet. I'm waiting for the new year. Because again, being here, my wife's been out there. A lot of responsibility with the animals in the house and getting acclimated in Texas. So, but there's 28 within driving distance from me, which is crazy.
Right.
As short distance as 10 minutes to an hour. So from an hour's drive to 10 minutes, there's 28 comic shops. And one of the things I'm planning on doing is in January hit every single one of them, talking about duty and talking about the incentive to get the books and hopefully get them to support the Kickstarter, and get it into their stores. There's some other things I don't want to give away just yet, but there's some things down the pike that I'm looking to do to localize in Texas and build the brand out here. And I'm also going to talk to them about carrying Catch the Crazies and Forbidden. So we'll see what happens. And
local comic book shops will do that for you, man. Like you help, you support them, they support you right back. So that's why it's important to support your comic book shops. And because when you do have, if you're an independent artist, a lot of these comic book shops, I know the Spiders Web does, they'll set up a table in there and they'll have a signing for you. They'll make you feel like a superstar, so definitely make sure that you do support them. But yeah, Sam, listen, man, this has been great. You guys, we're gonna be obviously having more shows for you next year, so that's gonna be fun. And that's all I got for you.
Yeah, so we're going to bring in our guest, and when we come back, we'll wrap up.
Sign up now for the comedy series that's going to kick off 2022. There's an alien in my toilet. The link is in the summary.
All right, we're back with Catch the Craze podcast, and we have our guest on the show, Chris Waigand. How you doing?
Good. How you doing, guys?
Good.
What's up, Chris?
What's up? Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, no, cool, man. Thank you for coming on short notice. I think Sam hit you up last week. Hey, man, you want to be on the show? And
hell yeah. Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's give a rundown on who you are and what you do.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Chris Waigand. By day, I'm a creative consultant. I work for a big old social media company, a social platform, and my background is for years, close to 15 years, I was a copywriter in advertising. So coming up with commercials, making commercials, come from Detroit. So did a lot of car stuff, moved out to San Francisco, about 9 years ago now, to work primarily in gaming. So did a lot of stuff on the agency side for console video game companies, worked internal at a big company. And then now I'm doing more of the consultant thing. So it's less writing in my day job. And I think this is why this was such a good outlet, this comic book, and more just kind of helping other people make their campaigns as good as they can be and as least annoying as possible. Because when I see these ads that I help them with, I want to be entertained by them. I don't want to hate them. So that's my job. So if you see any gaming ads that you like, on mobile, hopefully I had some hand in it.
That's awesome, man.
And you provide a lot of information in that statement, but before we dig into that, let's go back a little bit. Where'd you grow up? What were you into as a kid?
Yeah, so I grew up around the Detroit area. So Michigan through and through. Let's see. I mean, since I could pick up a crayon, my grandma used to watch me during the day. My mom was, for a while, my mom was a single nurse. And so it was a lot of sitting at the coffee table, taking comic books, and mostly drawing them. I thought I was going to be an artist. Turns out I don't have the discipline nor the talent. So
you need that.
Yeah. So if I see something, I could draw it. But if you told me to draw something from memory, it'd be a joke. So actually that, kind of influenced how I ended up going into advertising. I liked art. I liked writing. I wasn't going to write, I don't think, the next great American novel, at least not then. Again, I wasn't disciplined enough to learn, true art form and how to be an actual, professional artist. So I was like, we can combine these two. And I had an uncle in advertising, and he helped me get a foot in the door, and it was just a great combo. So I, leaned more toward copywriting, but having a little bit of an art background has certainly helped. So grew up in Grosse Pointe, Michigan, right outside Detroit. Ended up going to Michigan State University, majoring in advertising. And then I was one of the few of my friends who stuck around Michigan because I had a foot in the door in the agency world, so I wasn't going to screw that up. And as everybody was moving back from Chicago and everywhere else, I was like, all right, I'm going to San Francisco. I got a job on video games, so see you later. So that was about 9 years ago. So yeah, that's what got me here.
So Chris, when I think of like advertising, I think of like, movies and like these guys. Like I remember I was a big fan of like back in the days Boomerang. I don't know if you ever saw Boomerang with Eddie Murphy, where he was like this big advertising exec, wore the nice suits and got in there and just was able to put something up on the board and everybody was like, oh, that looks great. What is advertising like? What is the real advertising like? What was that life like?
You know what? If you watch Mad Men, it's in a completely different time and place. But I swear it was hard for me to watch sometimes because it was so close in so many respects. Now, the sexual politics are not that ugly anymore. Right. You're not people aren't wearing suits. They're wearing what I'm wearing right now, hoodies mostly. But just the grind of it, so the way it works is you work in pairs, right? So I was a copywriter, I had an art director, I had a creative director, and then that creative director's boss had an executive creative director. And so, there's a little bit of a ladder there. And, you go into a meeting with the client tells you what they want, you huddle back up, everyone's working, and it's a competition. And that's what kind of makes it fun, right? It's like, you're not just competing with other agencies when you're trying to pitch on, say, the new electronic arts game or whatever. You're pitching against your friends in your agency. So that's what's kind of wild about it. And what's kind of fun, but a lot of late nights, a lot of not sexual politics, but politics. You make something that you think is perfect, and then maybe a boss thinks it could be better this way. And you're like, oh shit. Okay, fine. But it makes it to the pitch, and then you pitch it in front of the client, like a song and dance. That's still very much a part of it, right? You're up there doing the voices, and there's definitely that theater in the room, which again, I love it. I always love doing that stuff. But then, so even if your idea is picked, you have this thing, it's been stepped on by a couple of bosses, but it's kind of there, right? It's hanging on by a thread. And then it's picked out of all these ideas. Your agency won the account. It was your idea. You're going to go film it. But then the client has to put their footprint on it. And so by the time you get to actually shooting the thing,
the suits.
The suits. If it resembles anything close to what you originally had, that's a miracle. So that's what I say to people. I say, if you ever see an ad on TV, if you see an ad on your phone, and you're like, damn, that's awesome. That's a miracle. That is an absolute miracle, because there's no lack of talent out there. It's just that process and that ladder that you got to climb that usually kind of breaks things down in a part, usually a negative way.
So how much of that plays on your ego, where you're like, really, I'm the expert. This is why you have me doing the job.
Oh, dude, yeah, you learn. At first, I was just angry all the time, man. And it's funny, you see your creative directors are just like, just don't fall on your sword for this. Just chill out. It's not a big deal. But all you have is your book, right? Your website. And it's, what have you done lately? Right. And so these ideas, this is how I'm going to get my next promotion, or to be honest, in advertising, no one stays anywhere for more than like 2 years. You leapfrog. So that's how I'm going to get my next job, right? And so it is the end of the world, right? So if you worked on this thing so hard and it's not going your way and it's not perfect, you just get so pissed off. You can't understand like why they don't understand. You're paying us to tell you what to do, and you're telling us what to do. So I'd say it took a couple of years to calm the F down and realize that it's a job. And I'm actually really lucky to do something where I could be creative in my day job, right? A lot of people don't have that. And so
no, it's true.
But your ego gets kicked, man, in the mouth by your bosses and the clients. Some clients, you get the hard clients in the room, they'll tell you to your face that it's a bad script or who wrote this. And yeah, you gotta develop a thick skin pretty quickly.
That's when you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
How many times you're at the pub, like running the sorrows out?
That's why everyone's the damn drunk.
Oh, dude. So you leave Michigan and you go to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And in San Francisco now, did you stayed obviously in your field. When did you get the bug to start writing comics?
So I've always had this bug to write screenplays, television, comics, forever. And my problem is I'm like a dog chasing cars, man. Like I have an idea. I'm like, this is it. I get so excited. I do the research, sometimes a lot of research. I start writing. If it's a movie, I get 15, 20 pages in. Then I start thinking about something else, like a TV show or a comic book. And then I start chasing that. And it was hard to finish anything when I was in the agency world because the hours are just so crazy. You know, if you're on a pitch, you work till 2:00 in the morning for multiple days, you're canceling vacations. And so you're also creative in your day job. So by the time you get home, it's like, damn, my brain is fried. So what really got me back into it is when I kind of took this job, you know, 4 years ago, when I kind of stepped away from writing scripts day to day and, you know, more of the consulting and helping other people with their campaigns that they've already thought about, and also working for one of these big social media companies. They're very good to you. There's a reason why not many people leave, because your work-life balance is just, compared to agency world, it's just, it's completely different. So I got to have a life, and, you know, I got to have the weekends, right? I'm not canceling vacations. And so that gives me the opportunity to sit down and actually write something and to commit myself to it. But in this case, the reason why I was able to finally just go all in with an idea was because, one, COVID, there's nowhere to go. So I have no excuse of why the hell I can't just sit down and make this thing. And two, I had a kid. So little Vaughn is our daughter. She's about as old as COVID in the United States. So she's a little over a year and a half, which is crazy. And so I was on paternity leave. So I had nowhere to go, nothing to do, time off of work, and it was just like, if I don't do this, I will never forgive myself. And so that is what kicked me in the ass to finally commit. And this idea, I've had it forever, for years, a version of this idea, and it became better and it made actually more sense because of COVID. And I guess if we talk about what the book is about, COVID has a big part of this story, and it kind of made the world of this make more sense. And so all of those factors are what combined into, okay, I'm going to focus on this damn thing. I'm going all in. Everything else we'll get to you later. This is going to be it.
You know, it's funny you say the agency side of things and how they work. My girlfriend works for an agency, and it drives her nuts because, like you said, there's just so much, you're under so much scrutiny when you're on that side. So she's like, I need to be the client. Like, I just want to be the freaking client. Like, I can't do this stuff anymore. But
that's what usually happens.
But so going back now, you said you had this idea. Was this idea tights, or was it something else, or was it called something else before it kind of become? So tell us about that whole transformation and how it started and what it's about.
Yeah, that's a great point. So originally, back when I was working at the video company I was working at, there was a guy on our team, and we both love comics and talking about comics we love. We actually have a couple of ideas for comics, and I had this one where I'm like, you know what? It'd be interesting if there was a comic about a judge, and he's just sick and tired of seeing all these pretty much scumbags just kind of be caught and released because they got the money to do it. And he just finally has enough. And he starts trying to become a superhero, much like a Kick-Ass, right? Like, he doesn't have any superpowers. He doesn't really have any training. But he's going to try and do something about it and make it human, but make it kind of funny. Again, Kick-Ass is kind of a nice North Star for you know, what the way I was thinking about writing this thing. Right. And turns out it's not that original. There are some other comics that are very similar to that. It was called Justice because, you know, he's a judge and he's bringing justice. I'm just like, there's something there. There's something fun about it, but it's just not special yet. And so like I said, when COVID hit, I was like, okay, well, a lot of people are at home watching too much Disney Plus and Marvel movies, on a job. If this thing gets any worse and crime rates start going any higher, we might see some people out in the street dressed as superheroes trying to do something about it. And I'm like, that's what was missing. That bringing that into that world of this justice idea, I was like, okay. Then I'm like, wouldn't it be interesting if the judge character, he doesn't want to be one. He hates these people because it makes sense, because they're clogging the criminal justice system because they're getting caught. They're screwing things up more than they're helping. Right. And so he sees that collateral damage and he has to deal with them every damn day. And so I think it was just interesting kind of flipping that and making him kind of almost like an antagonist to this group to begin with. And then, of course, it's going to evolve, and maybe this thing turns into an origin story, like he goes from hating them to kind of becoming one himself. And so that was kind of the evolution of it. Yeah, but yeah, called Justice. And then, man, right before I started the social campaign or social presence for Tights, I had a rewrite in my brain. I was like, this thing was, my buddy made a cover that we actually are going to probably use for issue 2. And it had justice in the background and everything. I'm just looking at it, I'm like, it's just not ownable enough, man. And it's just not fun. Yeah. Like the book is hopefully funny. That's the idea. I just need something different. I need something more ownable. I need something that at a glance kind of has that wink. And I was talking to my buddy, and I had thought about calling it Tights before. I don't know why I didn't jump on it. And he brought it up, and I'm like, you know what, damn it. I should have went with my gut. Mm-hmm. So I made the logo, I drew it out. I wanted something classic comic. And so when you look at it, you don't think wrestling. And then I'm like, I'm missing something kind of twisted, let's do a blood spatter. And so I went on Fiverr. I found somebody to do, it was on Reddit. And I found a guys called Amaze Me Logos, and credit to them because they stuck with me through, I don't know how many revisions, but we got it, man. I love it. I love where it's at. I think it does all that I wanted to do, but yeah, very far from Justice that was just kind of very serious. And now it's kind of what it was always meant to be in Tights.
So it's interesting because George and I had a conversation about colors, right? So walk me through your thought process between picking the yellow and blue.
I just like the color combo. I've seen a lot of major in red before. There was just something about the yellow that I liked a lot. And also if I wanted a blood spatter, red on red just wasn't going to do it. I think you can put it on, I made a rough of it, and I started just kind of placing onto different color schemes of what maybe future covers would look like. Right. And putting the shadow on it, it just kind of popped. Yeah, we did go through a couple. I'm trying to think of the other ones. It was blue on yellow. We had red. We had all sorts of weird stuff. We had purples and all that stuff. But I like the primary colors of it. Yeah. I went back kind of to the classic logos of Marvel. Of everything. Did kind of a study on it, and I liked the ones that just kind of had that blue and the yellow together. Just really popped really well.
Yeah, I do like the way it's designed, like that 3D effect coming out at you and stuff like that. I think that when you look at some of these like covers for like Marvel and DC, a lot of their even though their color might have been one, eventually they start changing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they'll throw in a different color just based on what's happening on the cover. So, yeah. You know what I mean? So that happens sometimes. But the fact that you designed it and then went back and said, hey guys, can you just clean this thing up and just let's make it pop. That's kind of cool. We were talking about Fiverr also because I feel like that's a good source for this kind of stuff.
It's a good source, man. Yeah. It takes a little bit to find the right fit, and usually these people are on the other side of the world, and English is a second or third language, and so there's kind of sometimes more of a barrier there. But most of the people that I worked with, they basically say, you don't have to pay us until you're happy. And I was like kind of blown away by that. And they stuck to their word, man. Like, again, I'm kind of a perfectionist. And so I apologize to if anyone out there is listening and they worked with me. But it was a great resource. And man, if you're on a budget, and everybody is, you can get some really good work done for, a fraction of the cost of having to go to a professional production company to do something like that.
It's true, and the quality of the work is not bad though. Like that, and that's what makes it so good because you figure when I'm paying this, I'm probably gonna get junk, and it's not. And like you said, they will make the revisions for you. Which is something that you know about revisions, so you know how much of a pain in the ass that can be. Oh yeah. Coming from where you're coming from. So the story of Tights. So what is it? What is Tights about?
So Tights takes place in a world, much like our own. I think that's what kind of makes it a little freaky. but in the world of tights, everyone's recovering from COVID-21. So we had COVID-19, Omicron now, we had variants, but think about kind of a new wave of this kind of puts global economies back in the toilet. And this time, I mean, if we were to start from square one again, it would be probably pretty bad, right? And so unemployment, crime rates are at, record levels. So what we went through, but worse, that's the world of tights. And like I said, a lot of people are out of a job, a lot of people reading too many comics, watching too much television, too many Marvel, DC movies, and the world's kind of in flames. And so they want to help out. And so they start dressing up. Sometimes, as you'll see in the very beginning of tights, as other movie characters that they've seen, and they maybe don't have an imagination, so they pick their favorite character. Other people, they have their own, they make up their own, their own superhero themselves. But yeah, so they're out there, and there's more and more of them, right? Trying to kind of battle the bad that's out in the world. And they're called tights. It's more of a derogatory term really than anything. Mm-hmm. I think in The Incredibles, are they called capes, or maybe that's another movie, but that's kind of what they're called in the world. Mostly in a negative way. And so tights, so that's the world, that's what's going on. Now the protagonist, his name is Oliver Andrews. He's a young federal judge. He was a cocky district attorney, but he was really good. Think kind of Harvey Dent in that he kind of went after fearlessly organized crime. And the way a federal appointment works is, it's presidentially appointed, right? And so what presidents want to do, much like, Supreme Court, they want somebody young, so they're going to be in there for a while. So, he's in his late 30s. So this isn't about a judge who's in his 50s. This guy's, not that old. I say that because I'm in my late 30s, and hopefully I'm not that old. Yeah. So the protagonist is this younger, he's kind of brash, cocky, but anti-tights federal judge, because man, he hates these guys, because he sees the damage they cause. And, the beginning of tights, the first 9 pages is this bank robbery, and it's already going horribly wrong. And then one of these tights intervenes and really everything gets completely fucked. I don't know if I can swear in that podcast. You can bleep it out, but really goes bad after someone who's trying to help intervenes. And we meet Oliver when that guy is in his courtroom, and we're going through his thought process, and we see kind of a little bit of his past of not only just dealing with this guy, but all the tights who have come before him, who have tried to help, but who have really screwed things up, hurt innocent people. And so he sees that, and also selfishly, they're on his docket. And so his day job is just full of these fools, and he's just like, I want to get to the things that actually matter. Leave this to the police. And so he hates these tights. And, the whole book is about how his world and this tights world are about to collide outside of his job. Someone from his past, someone when he was a cocky district attorney who he put away, someone very high up in the triads, is about to resurface and try and take him out. And tights are going to intervene. And they're not only going to, I'll just say it now, save the day. I'm not giving away too much, but they're going to end up blackmailing him into helping them save the city. So he's out of the clear. They're doing the right thing, and they're actually kind of badass. So this is kind of a pro team of superheroes, kind of Batman level. So we're not talking about the wannabes. These are badasses who are actually doing the right thing,
right?
But they need Oliver's help to actually save the city. And so, the rest of the story, the rest of the story arc is about how Oliver's thrust into this world very reluctantly at first, but then, you can kind of see him starting to dig it, and it's exciting. This is what he's missing. He kind of hates the judge job. He misses the excitement of being a district attorney and battling kind of crime in his own way. And so now that he's doing it again, he's finding that fire. And we'll definitely see him change, through issues 1 through, we're planning 1 through 8 will be this first story arc.
Sweet. And do you plan it to be like an ongoing story?
Yeah. I mean, that's the dream, right? I plotted it out. I think 8 issues for this first story arc. I mean, we'll see as this thing actually starts being printed. But but yeah, well, that's definitely all locked in. But I mean, I think the beauty of this is that it's very close to our world, right? It's very relatable, but it's also kind of a little bit more whacked in a fun way that can continue, because, this is a world full of normal people acting like superheroes, and some badasses are acting like superheroes, and criminal elements, and that can continue, I think, from here on out.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the masks on people in the, you know what I mean? Like for the first time, like, you don't see that. And like you see the masks on people because of COVID or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very well done. I know Sam's got a sneak peek of it. I'm waiting for mine to come in the mail before I actually read it. So I'm going to wait. But as far as the writing goes, Chris, like, did you use the, what you always ask this, the Marvel method, or was it like more the DC method where the DC method being, panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, the Marvel method saying, okay, this is what happens on this page. This is what this character says. Draw it.
Yeah. DC, I think. Because I haven't even talked about my artist yet. Edison Neo, that's his name. Edison Neo. That's it's probably the most badass name in real life I've ever heard of. So he's in Singapore, and I found him on Reddit. I saw his work. I saw that it wasn't. So again, when it came to art, I was like, okay, there's some serious shit going on in here that's pretty messed up, but it's more comedic than anything else. Right. And so it can't be too photorealistic, and it can't be too cartoony. And so I saw he has this, you can actually see it on his website, neocomicart.com. It's called Snake Claws. And it's this kind of love letter to old martial arts movies. He wrote it. He does everything. He does all the art. He does the lettering in it. He does the writing. In the writing, English is his second language, and it's freaking hilarious.
Really?
His talent is ridiculous and makes me angry, but
it does look really nice, man.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the cover now. Yeah.
But his style was fun. It strikes that nice balance, right? And so, what was the show? I think I started going off the track there.
No, you said you used the DC method.
DC method, that's right.
Yeah.
So he's in Singapore. We're on two different, time zones. And at first I just wasn't giving him enough description. And so it was a learning process for the both of us. And so really about halfway through making this thing, we really hit our stride. And I mean, he found it more helpful for me to be more descriptive. Because at first I was like, hey man, you're an artist. I want to give you just some, I'll frame it up for you. I'll tell you what's going on, but just put whatever spin you want on it. And he was more like, nah, man, just tell me what you see. Yeah. But then it ended up becoming kind of like this nice median in between that, where he would add, I would, in my descriptions, I would be like, this is what I see, but, particularly for this panel, if you want to break it up into multiple panels, or you want to combine all these panels together, like whatever you think is best. And by the end of this thing, we were working really well together. So yeah, definitely more DC than Marvel.
Yeah, no, it looks great, man. The pages look awesome, and yeah, that book that he's got, the what is this?
Snake Claws. Yeah,
it looks incredible, dude. Like what he did with that cover looks amazing, and what he's doing with your book is amazing, man. Like, and I think that when there is a language barrier, sometimes I think that they like a lot of artists prefer just tell me what you want.
Yeah.
Once I know what you want, I can start my imagination can start going, but I need to know where you are first before I do that, which makes sense. And I like working, even because I have a comic book, and my artists are out in the Philippines, you know what I mean, and they speak English or whatever, but they prefer the panels, the descriptions. Tell us what you want us to draw, and we'll draw it, dude. Like, that's the way it is. But it really does look amazing, and the fact that you have 8 issues that you want to do as your first arc. That's pretty cool. I see that your letterer, Reed Hinckley Barnes, also worked on a book called The Saturn Effect, which we had Chris Moses on the show before. So we know him. Good book, man. Yeah, it is a good book, and the artwork on that book is also amazing.
That's great.
But the lettering is also really good on your book. So how did you find Reed?
Dude, this is so ridiculous. Okay, so. My buddy, his name is Will Wells, and I worked with him at the video game company I had mentioned. So back when it was called Justice, I'm like, hey man, and he's one of the best digital artists on the planet. If you've ever seen, I'm gonna say, we worked for Ubisoft. If you ever seen a Ubisoft cover that you thought was badass, this guy has done it. Like everything, Assassins, I mean, anything you can think of. Wow. I just kind of brought up to him, like, remember that idea we talked about all those years ago? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'm getting serious about it. I'm like, could I pay you to maybe make a cover for this thing? And he just did it for free, and it looks so good. It's actually on the last. It's on the last page. Actually, you can see it if you go on the Kickstarter. It's one of the prints that came with one of the bundles, and then it's a preview of it is on the very last page of the comic itself.
With the statue
with the statue in the background.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah. So he did that for free, and but he's in Singapore now. So this is where it gets crazy. And so then Edison just so happened to be in Singapore, and Will. And so the two people at that time that I was working with to make this comic book were in Singapore. And then Edison's like, hey, I can let her, but I'm busy. I'm doing, all the art. Would you mind working with this guy that I've had letter before? I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. I saw his work. I'm like, that's awesome. And then Edison's like, I think he might be in California, maybe even San Francisco. I'm like, no shit. So I reach out to Reed, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm in San Francisco. He lives 9 blocks away from me.
Wow.
4 people who work on this comic were in Singapore and in San Francisco.
That's
pure chance. Pure chance.
It's meant to be, Chris.
It was wild. I was like, whoa. Yeah. I was like, I don't really believe in that stuff, but I can't deny that that's wild. I mean, that's wild. Yeah.
That is wild. And listen, what's also wild is that print. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's beautiful.
Yes.
The one that Will did.
Yeah. He's dude is insanely talented. And the Kickstarter, I have a link to his portfolio, and I mean, he's just one of the baddest dudes on the planet who does that. So he's a badass.
So whose idea was it for the cover with him on the trolley going up the hill being chased? Because I love that cover. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, that's all Edison. That was one of those things. I'm like, hey man, I was like, I have a couple of ideas of what it could be. He's like, no, I got it. I was like, you go for it. He was confident. I'm like, damn, when he's confident, he nails it. So, and yeah, that was all him. He did. What's crazy too is it says California, I think, on that trolley. Right. In my bar, we used to live right there. His reference was that hill that, I mean, for the first 4 years, we were there every weekend, every day. I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's like, you're in Singapore and you made where I lived and you didn't even know that. So yeah, it's wild. And then the other cover, the belly cover, is Santi Guillen. I found there's a Kickstarter recently called Pop Scars, another really cool book. And he did the cover and all the interior art. And so when I saw that, I'm like, damn, this guy's awesome. I need a variant cover. I'm reaching out to him. And so he's like, yeah, let's do it. But what was crazy is what you see on that cover, that style, that very kind of, it's like almost like painted, right? More of a classic, almost Conan style to it. He pulled that out of nowhere, full on and it was a complete surprise to me. And I was like, what? And then I was like, damn, I love this thing. It was a complete shock, pull out, pure artist thing, right? He saw in his head, he's like, I just had to do this. And I'm like, you nailed it. You freaking nailed it. Was completely unexpected, but you nailed it. And I love how different it is than what Edison did. So yeah.
Yeah, no, looks great.
Well, I mean, I even like I love the way you introduced the what do you call them? The group of people that are coming to save him.
Oh, Tights?
Yeah, Tights. There you go. I love the way you introduced it. That's a great splash page, and then the follow-up page, the way it ended, I thought it was funny.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah. The color palettes, I mean, we had a whole conversation on color. Just the color choice for the story works perfectly with this story as well.
You know what's also cool about it? Just seeing the preview pages, which is what kind of what led me to pledge to the thing, was just these preview pages.
It's good to hear.
Was it's savage. Some of the images are freaking I want to use the word graphic, but because of the way they're drawn, it doesn't turn you off. You're not oh, I can't. You know what I mean? It's just it's one of those reactions that you get because of the way it was drawn, which is genius, man. It really works for this story.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, as soon as I saw, Edison's work on snake claws on that Reddit, that subreddit, I was like, damn, that's it. And I went to his website. I'm like, this is the perfect combination. And it's awesome to hear you say that, because that's exactly what we were going for. And like you said, it could get dark real quick, particularly at the end of those 9 pages in the preview pages.
Yeah.
But there's just something, I don't know, there's something lighter about it because, the color palette, the way they're drawn, just the characters themselves and their expressions and stuff throughout, kind of keep it at the comedy level rather than the, depressing, dark corner level.
No, I hear you. So where are you right now with production on the book? Not just printing, obviously it's coming from the printers. For everybody who pledged to the campaign, just tell us a little bit about where we are with that side of it, and then production on book 2. Where are we with that?
So production, I mean, here's the proof. I hold it in my hand. It does exist. I can't tell. I mean, man, when you do this, for those of you out there who might be thinking about, making your own comic and you've been hesitant about it, this right here, that makes it all worth it. I don't care how it ends up. I don't care if nobody likes it. The fact that you're holding your own comic in your hand is worth it. So tomorrow, this is airing, I think, a little bit later, but, by the time you all see this, we have the printed number 1s. We'll have everything ready to go, and hopefully I'll be in process of shipping everything out. So that will be the conclusion of this Kickstarter, which is holy shit, a lot of work. Issue 2, I had started writing issue 2 while waiting in the very beginning when Ed and I were starting to work together. So I had the full script of issue 1 pretty much done. I mean, I rewrote it a trillion times in the process, but like the major plot points and everything, so he could start working. So I started work on issue 2, and again, I've kind of plotted them all out, but I still gotta, for the full script itself, I got a ways to go. I gotta write at least 3/4 of it, maybe half of it. So I will be overjoyed when I don't have to worry about logistics and oh my God, shipping all this stuff. If you could see what's around me, it's just boxes.
Jesus.
So it'll be nice to focus just on writing the thing. That's the most fun part of this whole thing. So hopefully over this holiday, I'll have some time and really start to get back into it.
Cool, man. Yeah, no, that's definitely awesome. I can't wait to read the rest of it, or the first one and then the rest of it. But yeah, no, I can't wait.
Yeah. So where can people reach you? They want to know more about Tights. What are your social handles?
Yeah, we kept it pretty simple. Tights Comic Book across Instagram, I think, is our. I don't know. I think the most people are found on Instagram. That's good. We're on Facebook, Tights Comic Book. We're on Twitter, Tights Comic Book. If you go to tightscomicbook.com, it's got all the story info that you find in the Kickstarter. We had our store is now live. You can buy PDFs, the digital copies. Right now you can pre-order the print, but I'll be very happy to take the pre-order out of there and just have order. Hopefully in the next couple days. So yeah, I can mail out to you if you missed the Kickstarter some physical copies, and we also have some fun stuff. We have the variant copy. We made these enamel pins of the belly, and man, I'm so happy how they turned out. It turned out so good, man. So we had to order a certain amount, so we have some extra. So Kickstarter exclusive, those are on there. Nice. We have skateboards that you can buy. They're badass too, man.
That's awesome, man.
So we were almost at 8,000 with 2 days to go, and for an incentive, I found a supplier who can make some skateboards, not just skateboards, but like a setup, a badass like real skate setup. Because I skateboard, or I used to skateboard. Now I use it for getting from A to B. I'm not doing any tricks or many tricks anymore. But anyways, I have a love for it. I want to make sure it was a badass setup. And so, we're like, hey, we get to 8,000. We're going to raffle this off to everybody who pledged has a chance. The more you pledge, the more digital tickets you get, but everyone's got a shot. And then it blew past 8,000. I'm like, oh shit. All right. We're almost at 9. we'll do another one. And so then we did another one. So we ended up raffling off two of those skateboards. And so we have the deck that of that setup. We have actually that was the pro setup. We have that on there, and then we have a basic setup, so it's a little bit cheaper. But long story short, a lot of fun stuff, and more to come other than the book itself.
Oh, awesome, man! This is great. Are you planning on doing any conventions next year?
I would love to. Again, that's part of the dream, right?
Yeah.
So now that I have, hopefully, I'm jinxing myself because I don't actually have the copies yet. When I have them, I want to. And now that, hopefully this latest variant Omicron thing, doesn't result in what happens in the story here and puts us square one. And we can keep going, mask up, but at least have a presence. Yeah, I would love to do that. But I gotta get on that. I gotta actually do my due diligence and kind of look into what's happening and when and where. But that's the idea.
Outstanding.
Sweet.
Well, thank you again. Yeah, thank you for coming on the show. It was a great conversation. Congratulations on the launch of your first campaign, and a great story. I mean, the story is both funny, impressive. I think you did a great job with this.
Oh, that means the world to me. This is why we do it, man. So thank you both for having me on. The show is awesome. You're doing the Lord's work here in the comic world. I'm telling you, no, we need more content like this, and you guys make great stuff.
Appreciate it, Chris. Appreciate it. And listen, you're welcome to come back whenever you want, talk about whatever you want, whatever, book 2 comes out. If you have another story you're promoting, whatever it is, just hit us up and you're on. So
cool. Appreciate it. More than happy to, man.
Awesome.
All right, my brother.
All right. That was our guest. Fantastic artist, fantastic creator, writer. The guy's very smart in his approach. You can see how successful he was on his Kickstarter campaign. Go check out Tights if you haven't done so already. Check out what's in the box if you want to know more about Tights. Visit their website. Their link is in the summary. Again, you want to be a guest on Catch the Craze, you know the deal. Just go over crazycomics.com, fill out the form, we'll get you on, and we'll go from there. And the only thing we require of you is your press kit, your bio, headshot, and any reference material that you'd like us to research you on. Provide all that information in one email. That's all you need to do, so make sure you have that. If you don't know what all that stuff is, check out the Crazy 10 or Less. There are a lot of episodes that'll give you information on what you need to grow yourself and your business in 2022.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So we leave you guys with Merry Christmas. We'll be back for our New Year's show, and we're going to have a show next week. So yeah, we're busy, man. We're busy, but we're doing that. Next week is the last week of the month. So
yes. So year. So George asked me, what did I get for Christmas? What did you get for Christmas?
What did I get for Christmas? A lot of actually, you know what? It was a good Christmas, and because I think I was able to see my fam. That's good. I always love seeing my family. My freaking nephews are growing like freaking like trees. These kids are huge. But I got a lot of stuff, man. I got, a lot of my family is amazing. I love them. My girlfriend is incredible. She hooked me up with some really cool things that I haven't opened yet because we just are recording. So I don't know. but yeah.
You watching him squirm? I was
like, I have no idea.
I know. I had to throw it back at you because you hit me up. I was like, oh. That's a
no.
Yeah. But I did get. I have in the car. I have a big old basket for my sister-in-law. I didn't want to open it because my wife's not here. So again, when I said my wife's coming, she's gonna be in 2 days. But there's this big basket. It's in the back of the car. Whatever it's in that basket, it smells good. Because the car smells really delicious. Yeah. So I mean, for me. I'll be very honest. Like, I'm not a big birthday celebrator, and I'm not a big, I'd rather my family, even like if my brother's at a distance, I'd rather just have a phone call with my brother for an hour, on Christmas Day, see my sister, which is going to be amazing for Christmas. Yeah. I'd rather just be around the people. I really don't care about the gift giving. For my nephews and nieces, I always send them gift cards because I don't know what their interests are. So I let them go and hang out with their friends and go to their favorite, mall or whatever and buy their makeup or whatever it is they're gonna do. But for the adults, we just have wine, we have food, and we have good conversation.
Yeah, nah, dude, I love wrapping gifts. That's my joint.
Yeah.
Like I love wrapping gifts. I love that shit. Not, you know what I mean? Like you said, I don't care about getting gifts. I mean, we're old men. I don't care about getting gifts.
No,
I do
you're an
like.
old man.
I do like. Look at your glasses. But I do like wrapping a gift, and and watching somebody open that thing up and seeing their expression when they open up the gift, like, oh, you know what I mean? Like I love that reaction. It's awesome, and I think that's, to me, that's what part of Christmas is, man. Is opening, gifts and just making people happy about what you're able to give. I mean, like you said, it doesn't have to be expensive stuff. It's just about having someone think enough of you to say, here's a gift, and because I love you, kind of thing. And I love, that's the spirit of Christmas that I love. I love watching the Christmas movies. I love the eggnog. I love the Christmas tree, the lights, like, just the family. Like this is one of the time of the year where you're able to say, hey, and we shouldn't do this just during Christmas, but it happens during Christmas, and I love it. I love the fact that it does.
Every Christmas. So I remember I was in the business world for many, many years, for over 20 years. And so every Christmas, from my first team 20 years ago to my last team, which was over a year ago, I always send a text, happy holidays. And they're like, this guy still remembers us from all these years. And sometimes that's enough to put a smile on somebody's face and change that day.
That makes the difference.
Yes. It makes the difference. Just remember the people that, were there through because I had the greatest teams when I was in business. And, we went through ups and downs together. But you got to remember they're all people, and they all brought smiles to my face in their all unique ways. And I always wanted to just let them know, hey, I was thinking of you.
Right.
Exactly. Simple as that.
That's it, man.
Sometimes I miss it, but but now it's on the road to brokepreneurship, and we'll see what happens.
See what happens. You never know. You never know what happens.
With that said, we are the Craze.
Yes.
We appreciate you, every single one of you. Have a safe and happy holidays. Have a safe and happy New Year. We'll see you again on New Year's for the New Year's show. With that said, I'm Sam, the Crazy Man Vera.
George, the Dreamer Medina,
a.k.a. Samta, and we are out.
It's just easy. It's not.
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce.
Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
He described me. He said, I'm the...
What? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.